The film begins with four armed men rescuing a woman named Brooke, who was being held captive by criminals in a building. These men are policemen named Bradley, Anders, Cal, and Axel. They were hired by Brooke's father, Chuck, to bring her home safely. After finding Brooke, the four policemen quickly tried to escape with her. However, they had to face the armed kidnappers, leading to a shootout in the parking lot. During the fight, Axel got shot. The situation became very dangerous, so Bradley and the others decided to leave in the car, thinking Axel was already dead. 1 year later, Bradley had retired from the police and was living in a snowy village far away from the city. To stay busy, Bradley took care of his animals every day. While he was at his ranch, Carl came to visit. They caught up after not seeing each other for a year, and Carl told Bradley that he was there to invite him to his wedding with Brooke. There, Bradley was surprised that Carl and Brooke had become close after they rescued her a year ago. But he was happy for his friend and promised to attend the wedding. A few days later, Brooke went to a hotel to meet her father, Chuck, who was a billionaire owning many big businesses. And Brooke's younger sister, Haley, also came to the hotel, which would be the place for Brooke and Carl's wedding party. So, Chuck was so rich that he rented out all the rooms and facilities of the five-star hotel just for his daughter's wedding. Soon, the hotel manager, Aaron, came over to tell them that all the other guests had checked out, so Chuck's family could now enjoy the hotel all to themselves while they prepared for the wedding. Later on, Bradley arrived at the hotel to greet Brooke. Brooke welcomed him warmly because she would never forget how Bradley helped save her from being kidnapped a year ago. Bradley also congratulated Brooke on her upcoming wedding with Carl. After chatting for a while, Brooke introduced Bradley to Haley and the others who were there to listen to Aaron explain the hotel's best facilities. From the way Haley looked at Bradley, it seemed like she was interested in him. Meanwhile, Aaron took everyone on a tour of the hotel. He showed them the large casino, where Chuck's family could relax and have fun. Aaron also showed them a secret room, where the hotel monitors different areas using surveillance cameras. He explained that the hotel has a high-tech system to ensure the best security for Chuck's family during their stay. This made Chuck feel relieved, knowing his family would be safe during Brooke's wedding. At the same time, Anders, who was also going to attend Carl and Brooke's wedding, was at the hotel bar. Carl soon joined him to thank Anders for taking the time to come to the wedding. Anders said he was happy to hear the good news and congratulated Carl on starting a family. During their conversation, Brooke came over to thank Anders for being there on their special day. She also mentioned the incident from a year ago and expressed how important Anders and the team were in saving her from being kidnapped. Later, before going to rest, Brooke and the others had a small party at the hotel bar. Everyone seemed to enjoy the party, and Anders even tried to flirt with a woman playing the piano. Meanwhile, Chuck and his two daughters greeted the other guests who would be attending Brooke's wedding the next day. The next day, Carl was with Bradley and gave him his wedding ring to keep safe until the wedding the next day. Bradley accepted it, and after Carl left, Haley, who had been watching Bradley for a while, approached him. They started talking about different things, and Haley asked if Bradley was married. Bradley shared that he was married, but had lost his wife a few months ago. Haley expressed her sympathy for his loss, but she also felt this was her chance to get closer to Bradley. Not wanting to miss the opportunity, Haley invited Bradley to the hotel's swimming pool. She got into the pool and lit a cigarette, trying to tease Bradley. Seeing this, Bradley decided to join her in the pool, and they ended up spending the night together in a room. The next morning, Haley and Bradley were surprised to find out they had overslept, even though they needed to get ready for Carl and Brooke's wedding. They quickly got dressed and rushed to the party. At the same time, Aaron entered a room where the hotel's surveillance cameras were monitored and brought coffee to the guard on duty. The guard, not suspecting anything, drank the coffee, which Aaron had secretly mixed with sleeping pills. Outside, Anders and Chuck were chatting, and Chuck thanked Anders for coming to Brooke's wedding. Anders said he was happy about the wedding, which he hadn't expected at all. They continued talking and drinking until Chuck got quite drunk. In the surveillance camera control room, the guard had fallen asleep, which gave Aaron the chance to secretly call someone on the phone. Meanwhile, several unknown cars were seen driving towards the hotel where Brooke and Carl's wedding was taking place. A little later, the wedding ceremony began. Brooke, looking beautiful in her white dress, walked down the aisle with her father, who was still a bit drunk from drinking too much with Anders. Back to Aaron. After confirming that a group of armed people had arrived, he, who was secretly working with them, opened the door to let them in. Soon after, the armed group quickly entered the kitchen and shot all the chefs who were preparing the wedding food. Now, the leader of this group was Axel, who had survived being shot a year ago and was forcing Aaron to help them get into the hotel easily. Axel showed no mercy and shot Aaron in the leg, then ordered him to lead the way to the CCTV surveillance room. Limping, Aaron guided Axel and his group to the room. Axel then told his men to plant bombs near the exits so no one could escape from the hotel. Back at the wedding, after saying their vows, Carl asked Bradley for the wedding ring. But Bradley couldn't find it in his coat pocket, which made him rush back to the room to search for it. At that time, Haley saw this and decided to follow him to help find her sister's wedding ring. When they got to the room, Bradley started searching for the ring box that Carl had left the night before, but he couldn't find it anywhere. Meanwhile, Haley ran to the swimming pool area where they had spent time the previous night. Luckily, Haley found the ring box and quickly brought it to Bradley. With the ring in hand, they planned to return to the wedding to give it to Carl. At the wedding party, Brooke and the guests were relaxing, waiting for Bradley and Haley to bring the rings. Suddenly, Axel and his group burst in and attacked everyone at the party. There, Carl quickly acted to protect Brooke from getting shot by the attackers. Meanwhile, guests who tried to escape through the hotel exit were caught in a bomb explosion set by Axel's men, leading to their tragic deaths. Bradley heard the explosion and wanted to check it out, telling Haley to go back to the room for safety. However, Haley refused because she wanted to stay with Bradley. At the same time, Axel was trying to catch Carl and Brooke, who were hiding in the casino. Then, a shootout began, and one of Axel's men managed to capture Carl. Fortunately, Anders arrived just in time to save Carl and Brooke, but they didn't realize that Chuck was still in the casino. At that time, Axel was able to capture Chuck. While Chuck was still very drunk, Axel dragged him to the party room and slapped him to wake him up. As Chuck began to wake up, he recognized Axel as one of the policemen he had hired to rescue his daughter from kidnappers in the past. Axel then explained that after being shot, the kidnappers saved him, and he eventually became friends with them. Now, he was back to get revenge on his former colleagues who had betrayed him and to extort all of Chuck's wealth. When Chuck refused Axel's demands, Axel became angry and shot Chuck. However, Axel purposely avoided hitting any vital areas and warned Chuck that he would kill Chuck's family if he continued to refuse. Reluctantly, Chuck agreed to transfer all his money using the computer in the CCTV monitoring room. Meanwhile, Bradley was taking down Axel's men who were patrolling the hotel hallway. At the same time, Anders, who was cornered by Axel's men, told Brooke to surrender. Brooke was then captured and brought to the CCTV room. Once there, Anders managed to kill the men guarding the room. After ensuring they were safe, Anders instructed Brooke to stay in the room while he went to find Chuck. Upstairs, Haley returned to the room to grab the phone and call for help, but Axel's men suddenly appeared. Fortunately, Bradley arrived just in time and took down some of Axel's men to save Haley. Then, a fierce fight broke out between Bradley and the remaining men, but Bradley was overpowered and ended up falling from the hotel balcony. Without thinking, Haley tried to escape from the criminals chasing her, screaming for help as she ran. When she was trapped in the swimming pool area, Carl came to her rescue, even though he was injured. Bradley then arrived and fought off Axel's men, throwing them into the pool and defeating them. Shortly after, Anders was able to save some of the wedding guests who were being held hostage by taking down more of Axel's men. In the CCTV monitoring room, Brooke was forced to open the door when she saw her father being held hostage by Axel. Axel then forced Chuck to transfer the money to his account. After that, he took Brooke out of the room, planning to use her as bait to lure Carl and the others. After all the former police officers were together, Axel held Brooke hostage and demanded that Anders, who was holding a gun, throw it away. Axel then shared his anger with his 3 former colleagues for leaving him behind, even though he had survived. He said he wanted revenge on Bradley and the others by killing them. Soon after he let go of Brooke, and just as he was about to shoot his former colleagues, Carl, who had secretly kept a gun hidden, quickly shot and killed Axel. At the end of the film, Bradley gives Carl and Brooke their wedding rings. The film ends. The moral lesson from this film is never trust a guy who was once your teammate, especially if he's been hanging out with criminals, cause it might just ruin your wedding day. Also, always double check where you left your wedding ring.